Okay, well, thanks for tuning in, guys. Right now you're watching the Soulfire Sunday podcast presented by the Sex and Suicide podcast. And right now I have two other individuals with me. This is Paulie O'Byrne. He's the founder of I'm 1 in 5. And this is, are you Paulie?
Yeah.
And this is Scotty.
Check these guns out.
And we got Scott Milne here, who's an IFBB Pro. Both of their pages are also running the stream. If you're new to Soulfire Sundays are about three guys sitting on a couch talking about mental health. And we're following a program by Lucinda Bassett, which is all about cognitive behavioral therapy, which is trying to catch yourself in your negative thoughts and transform those into more empowering thoughts, and just help you get through anxious episodes, stressful episodes and days, and also depression. So basically, I guess we're all here to take this course on attacking anxiety and depression, and it's provided by Lucinda Bassett, which is from the Midwest Center. And right now we are on session number 13, which is about time management and anxiety. So how did you guys find this week? We're laughing. Yeah, we're laughing because Scott was a few minutes late today. And
like every weekend. I have a problem with time management.
So
I readily admit that.
So how did you find this week?
Enlightening, stuff
you already know, but yeah,
I've been told my whole life.
Fair enough. It's just a matter of implementing some of the tactics. Okay, so this will be a good week for you.
Yeah.
What about you, Paulie?
I like that. I think time's one of those things we never get back, right? So
yeah.
We got to use it while we got it.
Right.
Not waste it. That's for sure. That's what I learned. Don't waste your time. You only get, when our ticket's pulled, that's when the time's up. So better use it to the best of our...
Sure. So you think what we're doing here is a good use of time?
I think it's a great use of time. They say you only live once.
I hope so.
You live every day.
It's working every before.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead, bud.
I think that you just live every day.
Yeah.
YOLO, that stupid thing. You only live once. You live every day. You only die once.
Right.
So get busy living.
Absolutely.
That's what that stands for, YOLO?
Yeah. When people say YOLO, you only live once. I found this week was really interesting because it was a lot about... I thought first when I read time management, and I've been through this course before, so this one kind of caught me off guard because I forgot about it. But I thought it was going to be steps and techniques to kind of get you in check. But a lot of it was about, a lot of it was just about how to get through anxiety to manage your time better. A lot of energy work, a lot of trying to pinpoint when you have the most energy and to kind of be more productive at that point in your day. And during the time when you have low energy, you're going to do the less important tasks at that point. So that was kind of interesting to me.
It's tougher to do that, I think, to put those priority lists together, because everything's important, right? And then you have to say what's more important, right?
Right.
And self-care, I think, is up there, especially when it comes to time management, right? And being in a job where you're always working 9 to 5, where you're working all this time doing someone else's work or doing work for someone else. So we got to take some time to do that for ourselves. And I don't think that's too selfish. I think that's a good thing that we can do for ourselves. Is give ourselves some time, right? And enjoy our time.
Right. I think a lot of this week was also about taking back your time and just not allowing other people to kind of control it, right? Because if you are an assertive person, and if you haven't been following some of the stuff that we've been talking about, other people can really easily pull at your time, and you can start to resent them for that. If you're constantly doing something for this person or that person, you got to take care of yourself first, right?
Well, I think for just in general for people like us or whatever,
suffer
from anxiety and we put so much pressure on ourselves. So if you have a to-do list and then you don't get a lot of it done that day because you are feeling tired or something, whatever.
Right.
I know I end up beating myself up about it,
right,
which makes it worse,
right?
So it's like a vicious circle. So you kind of have to I found, allow yourself to be okay with, I don't have a lot of energy today or have bad sleep. It's okay for a few hours to feel like shit. Don't be upset about it. Do it tomorrow. You don't have to pile it all in one day, and that's something we're going to go through. It's a really good point. I mean, it all comes down to your attitude about your to-do list. Right. Yeah.
If you were maybe to take a little more time, and we're going to get into this in a little bit, but if you're maybe to kind of space things out, space out your appointments, don't try to cram it all into one day, and then feel good about that. If there's extra time, then add to it rather than piling on a mountain full of things that you need to do and beating yourself up if they don't get done at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So my problem is, I think, like, I say yes to everybody, you know,
Right.
like as a people pleaser.
Yeah.
And then I don't really think about the time in between, like travel time or whatever,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
And like whenever I go somewhere, I always end up running into somebody I know. And
Right.
I'm a talker, so
Sure.
then I end up talking for like whatever, 20 minutes or longer, and then then the rest of the day is like
Yeah.
I'm off.
So keeping track of time and making sure you stick to like your time.
Yep.
Yeah, your schedule is kind of something that needs to be worked on, I suppose.
Yep. And then I think learning to say no,
That's a big one.
Right?
Yeah, that's a big one.
that's the self-care, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
I can't do it today. Right?
Yeah, that's hard to do too. I mean, you obviously want to make people
Because you
happy.
you feel selfish or guilty about that.
Right, sure.
I think even on those dark days, though, like I said, like, you know, we've said before, like, even if you get out of bed, like, and that's all you've done, then you've utilized your time to the best of your ability that day. I know, like,
Right.
going through depression, I didn't want to get out of bed ever. Like,
Right.
ever. I get up to have a pee, and that's it. You
Right.
know, and I go right back into bed, and I think I've come to a point where even in, like, depressive episodes, I'll get up out of my bed and just go to my couch. And I
Right.
still feel like I've utilized my time to the
Yeah.
best of my ability, right? And that's,
Yeah.
when you're depressed, you don't want to do anything, you know, use any energy, right?
Right.
I think that's, you know, that's still an accomplishment that you got out of bed.
Baby steps.
Baby
Yeah,
steps,
like
right?
the baby steps for
You
sure.
gotta crawl before you can walk. And
You know that whole baby steps thing? Did you ever see the movie What About Bob?
Mm-hmm.
that's
Yeah.
old.
I know, but that's like that psychiatrist said baby steps. So don't think about the full day. Think about just you're going to walk out of this office. Think about making it to the door and then opening the
Right.
door, and then you think about walking through.
Right.
So it kind of, and we talked about this too when you take on. Go ahead.
So
Yeah.
it's like living in the moment, right?
It is like living in the moment. What do I have to do now?
Right
Don't
now.
think about 10 steps ahead. Think about what you have to do now. And we'll get into this as well with the time management. It's almost as if when you have a big project that feels overwhelming, break it down into smaller pieces and then work on it one step at a time and handle it that way. So we'll get into some of the stuff that was on the audio. So if you guys are watching and you're not wondering what the hell we're talking about, we all listen to an audio session for about an hour every week and take notes. And this one was on time management, obviously. And I'm going to read to you some of the notes that I took, and Paulie's got some there as well. So you guys, this one's a bit of a long one. So I'm going to try to kind of read through it and stop. But if you guys have something that's on your mind, interrupt me and just stick it in there and I'll stop, okay? So I'm talking to you guys out there that are watching. Is it difficult for you to spend time by yourself? Are you afraid to be alone? Maybe you're afraid of having a little too much time on your hands and too much time to obsess about things. Are you someone who finds it uncomfortable to sit at a red light? Is it difficult for you to stand in line? Do you have a hard time saying no to others' demands on your time? Do you push yourself with 100,000 things to do in one day? Do you feel exhausted and irritable at the end of the day, like you didn't get enough accomplished? We've already covered some of this.
Yeah.
If any of these things ring a little bit of truth in your life, then there is a good chance you're not managing your time well. And I think we've already discussed that all of us are still dealing with this sort of thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever get perfection with it, to be honest with you.
Well, we know there is no such thing as perfection, right? I think it's just a better way to manage.
Yeah, that's it.
I mean, it's just literally managing the little things in your life and cutting out the things that are pulling at the important things.
Right.
Which is in the moment living, really,
Right.
and the people that you love and get your direct attention. Most people with anxiety and depression tend to push themselves very hard, and they never feel like they've done enough. They tend to overload their day and their schedules and try too many things in a very short period of time. They're always racing the clock. They're always in a hurry. They also don't have a lot of tolerance for people who move slowly or talk slowly. So this is me a few years ago to a T. So tell me if you guys have this, but someone that was really calm would almost give me more anxiety because I'd be like, okay, fuck, hurry up, get it out, like, spit it out, right? But they're there to teach you the patience of, okay, like, take your time, breathe, slow it down. It's not that big of a deal.
Right.
Most things don't need to be rushed.
That's like driving. Like
Driving, I'm still bad at.
oh man, like anyone driving under 100, I'm like, hurry up, like TikTok, you know,
Yeah.
when the speed limit's 80.
Yeah.
And like even at 100, I'm like, I got places to be, you know,
Yeah. Like our lives are more important than theirs,
right,
right?
exactly.
Yeah. I always used to think that too. I used to think, you know what? These old people, they don't have much time left. They're fucking putting along.
They're enjoying
I'm here. I got so much life left. Why are you know? And it made no sense to me. But they're probably the ones that have it figured out. Like, hey, I'm enjoying myself now.
Just drive slow.
Looking at the grass and trees.
So it's the young punks like us that just kind of.
Wow.
Yeah, it is. So this is all normal for someone with anxiety because people with anxiety get uncomfortable with too much time on their hands. People with anxiety tend to have more adrenaline and cortisol coursing through their bodies and feel a little more revved up sometimes. You guys agree with that?
100%.
Yeah. Do you feel like you both have a little more in your veins and it kind of just is more easily released in a sense?
I don't know if it's even easier released, right? I think that it just builds up, and then like for myself, I have to find ways to release that. That's why I walk so much. Because I'm so not paranoid or not worried or anything. I'm maybe high energy.
Right.
I need to get that stuff out, and walking is way better than sticking a needle in my arm. You know.
True.
It's healthier.
It's really almost like part of like ADHD, right? Like,
right.
I know for myself, like growing up, like I used to go. My mom used to take me to a place called the Learning Loft.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And just because they did it, like their techniques were different than school. Because like in high school, like I didn't like to write tests and all that. I couldn't do it there. I had to do it at this other place, and my mind was so like racing and like hyperactive that I couldn't focus on anything. So she made me go out and run around the building a bunch of times to calm me down, and then I could come and focus.
Yeah.
Because I've never been the type of person that can just sit there and read and sit quietly.
Yeah.
But my mom can sit and read like for hours and hours and hours. I can't do that.
I know. It takes a
It
lot
makes
of
me more like
more anxious. Yeah, and I think that's where the breathing techniques come into play. In meditation, it makes you sort of more comfortable with just taking that time and slowing down, because otherwise I was the same way. And now I still have trouble sort of, like I've never read a book, sat down and read a book from cover to cover. That's never been, I've never been able to do that. My concentration is gone after a few chapters.
Oh yeah.
But now at least,
like a page, pages.
But now I'm finishing, like last year, and cutting out alcohol was huge.
Yeah.
But I probably read more books in that year than I read in my entire life combined up to that year.
I tried to read when I was drinking, like just to kind of give myself like that boost.
Yeah.
Like I don't know why, sick, right? Real sick.
Yeah.
And I'd read a page and totally forget what I just read.
That's common.
Like,
very common.
And I think more in my sobriety, I've been able to retain a little bit more. Like literally, I'd read the page and be like, "Fuck, I have no idea what I just read." Like, I'd read that over again. And now at least I can like. I've done a lot more reading, and I think that's like educating ourselves and giving ourselves some gifts of education, right?
Yeah.
Opening our minds up that we can read books and retaining that shit. And
that was me all through public school and high school. I mean, same thing. I'd get through a paragraph and already forget.
Forget what you were reading.
Yeah, and now, I mean, right now I have the habit of like, I'll hold on to a highlighter, even though people think I'm crazy sometimes, because I read my books, I always have a highlighter. And a highlighter is there so that if I catch something important, I go back, I reread it, I highlight it.
The whole page.
And then it kind of is, but some of my books have literally.
Wait till you go to college, man. The whole book will be highlighted.
Like that, right?
Yeah.
But it sort of helps me retain it, and then it's sort of, you understand that paragraph, you're ready to move on. So it's just the same thing.
Yeah.
Breaking it into those same thing we talked about, baby step it, right? So instead of trying to focus on the whole page, break it up into something, find an important point, think about it, and then move forward.
Were you the type of person if somebody read it to you, you could retain it right away? Or if you saw it?
I think that if people read to me, like for example, when I was little, my mom used to read to me.
Yeah.
And I used to enjoy that, but the only reason I enjoyed that is because as she was reading, my imagination would take over.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if anything I was envisioning in my mind was anything like what was on the page by the end of it, right?
Yeah, right.
Because I just had an overactive imagination. I still do.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a bad thing, though. That like incites creativity, right?
And I think that's the thing that can be, as we talked about before, your imagination when you have anxiety and depression can be a scary thing because as creative as that can be in a positive sense, it can bring you some pretty dark